Ready.
All right, we are live.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the normal Human Relations Commission meeting on Tuesday, May 18th. I will call this meeting to order at 5:15 and read our statement. The governor has issued a disaster declaration related to the public health concerns caused by the statewide COVID-19 pandemic. As chair of the Human Relations Commission, I've determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the risk of exposure of the COVID-19 virus stemming from an indoor gathering, and that a remote meeting is in the best interests of the health, safety, and welfare of the commission, staff, and general public. With that, Jason, if you will call the roll.
Commissioner Kamala,
I'm here.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Henson, Commissioner Ryburn,
Here.
Commissioner Figueroa, and Commissioner Williams.
Here. I'm not aware of any public comment. You
Nope, I haven't received anything.
okay? I will ask for a motion to accept the meeting minutes from April 20th, 2021.
I move that we accept the meeting minutes from April 20th, 2021.
And I second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Jason, if you'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Kamala,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Ryburn,
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye. Next, complaint update. We have any new update?
No updates. I'm sitting in on a call between the parties in our hearing officer this Friday, actually Friday morning. So I should know more then. Hopefully that's the last hurdle to go before possibly setting a hearing date. So a hearing may occur between now and when we all meet again.
Okay. Unfinished business. I want to say thank you to Vice Chair Tamala for standing in for me last month. I was able to review the minutes, and I don't have any further updates on the Social Equity Summit. And since it is May and we were planning for October, and the state of the COVID-19 pandemic is still unknown, and where we'll be in October as far as vaccines and cases and such, I think it's a safe I think we can safely put it off for 2021. What do you guys think about that? You think we should move forward with the planning to do something virtually, or do you think waiting until 2022? I should have led with that.
But not knowing what's going on, I would probably say wait for 2022 maybe get some planning together and just make sure that it's ready to go in 2022, if 2021 is not, viable by October.
Yeah, what goes into my mind along with Terry is that if there is a need to have this done, and then there is an urgent need to get this done, I think we'll probably look into that. Otherwise, what I have noticed is, especially with the virtual conferences and stuff, unless there is a strong urge or business need, it's kind of getting hard to bring people to those meetings. The attendance has been not that great, especially the ones that I've seen. I can't necessarily speak for every conference that has happened. So it's going to need a lot of push and also a lot of advertisement and a lot of background work to be able to bring people to the table, especially on virtual meetings. So, and I think on that note, unless we really have a strong business case to have it done this year, and I agree with Terry that we would probably want to look at next year.
I agree with that. I'm wondering if maybe we could put it on the agenda for August or September to review the one that we had 2 years ago, because I've totally lost any connection to what we accomplished, what the focus was, where we left it. It just seems like forever ago. And I think it would be beneficial if we would put it on our agenda to actually review that, to get us up to speed, so that then we could start planning for next year. And maybe that would give us some momentum too.
I think that's a great idea. Since we're looking at October of 2022, do we have a meeting in October 2021? Well, no, let's do it in September. That gives us a full year to plan. And what I can do is pull my notes out. The Human Relations Commission was not the driving force on the first one. It was one of the council members. We participated, but we were not the primary planners. However, I've got plenty of notes so I'll be prepared in September to kind of give you a recap of what happened, what was accomplished, what was intended to be accomplished, what do we want to do moving forward for 2022, because quite a bit has happened since the last one. And so the focus may be different. Okay, so we'll take that off the agenda until we'll add it as new business in September. Next, joint meeting with the Bloomington Human Relations Commission. I had a very good call with their staff liaison, Nikki Richards, a couple of weeks ago, just to say, there've been lots of emails going back and forth. And since there were some new players, and I have a personal relationship with her, I said, let me just pick up the phone and have a conversation. And so we had a very good conversation about sort of the history of the planning, the alternating of the planning, some of the misconceptions about normal's participation in the event every year. And so I think we are on the same page. Jason, did you get a chance to circle back with her. We've been invited to the Bloomington Human Relations Commission meeting for either, was it June or July, I think? So just wondering, do you have those dates? I didn't pull those dates up.
I can get them.
Ms. Richards was not aware of the alternating planning between the commissions, or that although normal doesn't have, the normal Human Relations Commission doesn't have a separate budget, we do have the support from the city manager to participate financially in the planning and payment for the the Human Relations Commission award ceremony. And so in the past, part of the stalemate has been, well, how much do you have? And our response has been, well, what are you asking for? And I think it has just gone in circles, and somewhere along the line, we got way off track. And so I think we are back on track with an understanding. And I thanked her again for all of the work that she and Tony did to make the 2021 event as successful as it was, having to turn on a dime to do a virtual event. I think, and I just let her know that she did a phenomenal job, and that we as a commission truly appreciated all the work that she had put into it.
So those dates that have been thrown out were June 10th and July 8th, which is Bloomington HRC's June and July meetings.
June 10th or July 8th.
8th, yeah.
Do either any of you have a preference for any of those dates? I think I'd rather do it sooner rather than later. So does June 10th work? And we would still have our regularly scheduled meeting on June 15th.
Is it a Thursday, June?
10th is Thursday.
Those are Thursdays.
Yeah, that should, I mean, it works for me. Thanks.
Yeah, June 10th sounds good.
Maybe you mentioned this, but that is a Zoom meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Zoom meeting in Zoom.
Yes. And rather than, because I think initially the thought was to have a joint meeting and discuss best practices and some other things. I believe that the purpose of this will be more like an agenda item on their regular meeting. And we will have a conversation about the 2022 award ceremony. So kind of the who, what, where, when, why. I did share with her that we would be interested in trying to figure out how to do a hybrid event that was both virtual and some in person to give people the opportunity. And we talked briefly about the numbers for 2021 being higher than past events when adjusted for number of people watching and the numbers of people that watched the day of and since then. Okay. Does anyone have any new ideas for the 2022 award ceremony? I think she did also like the idea of having past youth winners come back as our speakers. I think that's a great idea. I guess I'll add this under new business. It's not really anything to discuss. But one of the other conversations that City Manager Reese and I had during our meeting was I'd asked if the Chief of Police could come and speak with us about the recent law that went into effect regarding law enforcement in Illinois related to cash bail, which is not really a matter that would impact the normal police department, but just to see how are things. Cash bail is only related to the Cook County Sheriff because that's where the jail is. And the bail goes through the judge, the state's attorney determines who gets charged and the fees and fines and such. She did let me know that yesterday he gave a presentation to normal town council. And so, Jason, if you could email us the link to yesterday's town council meeting, then we can have the opportunity to review his comments there and then decide if we have any follow-up questions, if we would like for him to come to a meeting in the future.
Yep, we'll get that out to you.
Thank you. That was one of the things I think I neglected to pass on to the vice chair to share with you last month. Does anyone have anything else?
Real quick, Janessa, on that. So did we say that the cash bail, the law that has went into force only impacts Cook County, not the whole country? I'm sorry, not the whole state?
No, it doesn't impact the whole state.
I see.
It doesn't impact Normal's budget directly because we don't, because people who are arrested don't go to a normal town jail. They go to the McLean.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, I mean, it is impacting the community in a way, but not necessarily the town of Normal. Got it. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, it was brought up in last minority and police partnership meeting. I forgot whether it's the last one or the one before that. Yeah. Apparently, I mean, so the police chiefs across the, well, I think what we heard from this area, I mean, they're going to obviously enforce it, but not necessarily completely on board with it in the sense that their input, it was not the law when it was put together. They didn't have an option for the police chiefs to chime in. So it could have been an ideal thing if they have worked together and come up with a solution that works for everyone versus it sounded like, it's probably kind of a one-sided thing, but obviously the police chiefs will abide that. So that was the feedback that I heard in the last meeting.
that moves us into announcements. Delta Sigma Theta, in conjunction with the NAACP, are hosting the 3 police chiefs and sheriff, so Bloomington, Normal, ISU, and McLean County, for a conversation, a community conversation. We're planning 4, and the first one will be on law enforcement in the community. And it's going to be structured such that it's not a gotcha, it truly is a conversation. And we're working now on the format such that we get input from the community, but that law enforcement is not attacked, so that we can continue a healthy conversation. And I will send out that publicity should be ready in the next day or so. I'll make sure you all get it. The other conversations are going to be with the mayors, and they're both have agreed to do it. The date that we have put out there, neither one of them were available. So now we're looking at a different date. The third one will be with the school board, since got newly elected school board members. That will be in September. And town council, town and city council members will be invited to the 4th one in October. So it's a series of community conversations. And those are the conversations that we're going to start with. They're each only going to be 1 hour. So obviously there's not going to be a whole lot that you can do in an hour. So it may require follow-up meetings or conversations, but we wanted to at least get a start. And so we may be able to put out some pre-information so that the community is aware of, so like Chief Fleischner's comments from yesterday, to kind of get, I'm sure the interim chief from Bloomington has made comments or remarks that people could review prior to that. And we're going to have moderators for each one of the conversations. And Dr. Milton Craig from political science at ISU is going to moderate the first one. So I blended new business with concerns and announcements. Does anyone else have any other new business concerns or announcements?
Yeah, I just want to invite everybody to the monthly membership meeting for the NAACP that takes place this Thursday at 6 p.m. And it is a virtual meeting. Obviously, this month we're focusing on mental health. So there'll be 2 presenters to talk about mental health. So it'd be worthwhile if anybody can join us. That would be great.
Thank you for that, Ben.
Last meeting, we had a quick discussion on the sweet corn circus and kind of what the status of that is. I reached out to administration today. They're hoping, given that we're now in this bridge phase and it looks like there's a path to maybe holding some larger events over the summer, the hope is that the sweet corn circus can maybe look like it has in years past, with the streets closed in Uptown and tables and stuff out. Nothing set in stone yet, but I'll keep you all kind of apprised of where that heads. It's likely that we'll need to decide whether we want a table in it or not. between now and our next meeting, which is in August. So that may be something that I just kind of reach out and work with Janessa and Janae to set up if that's the route we want to go, and depending on what that event looks like. But looks like it may happen, and if so, I'll let you all know.
And is that usually like the third weekend in August?
Yeah, and I saw some dates, and I forget what they are now. I believe it is August 28 and 29. So we're talking like the last weekend in August.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
What's the likelihood of our meetings going to be in person next time we meet?
You know, I can't say for sure. I know the council hasn't taken any action. I haven't heard of them
I see.
to in-person meetings, but you know, 2-3 months is a fair amount of time. So
Yeah.
could be possible, but I haven't heard of any changes
Okay.
for any other groups or any other of our commissions yet.
Okay.
I just noticed that we're not scheduled to meet again until August 17th. That we don't have a June or July meeting. Since we're meeting with the Bloomington Human Relations Commission in June, do you think that waiting until August is too long, or what do you think? Or do you think that given that we don't necessarily have anything pressing for the summer, that August would be sufficient?
Are you wondering if there are action items or further discussions needed coming out of Bloomington meeting that we may probably need another meeting before August?
Potentially.
Okay. I guess maybe that is something that we want to take over the email
Yeah.
based on how the meeting goes.
Okay. That's a reasonable action.
Yeah, if something comes up, how does that coincide with the July 10th joint meeting? Because we're gonna drop off of their meeting anyway after our agenda item, right?
I would think so.
And how would that work with us and the Open Meeting Act if we had something to take care of on that June 10th?
Well, I think what I'm hearing from Jay is that if we had something to take care of, it would probably be as a result of what we discussed with the Bloomington Human Relations Commission. So we decided we wanted to make a decision. We'd have to post an agenda, you know, with the decision to be made. So there'd be some lead time between the Bloomington meeting and when we could meet and take any action.
Okay.
You know, I'll notice up our meeting with Bloomington HRC just to not run afoul of the Open Meetings Act, but I don't expect us to make any decisions anyway, but we'll just put people on notice that at least 4 of you will be there for a discussion of things pertinent to the group. But if you know something comes up and we need to make a decision, we'll have to wait you know, at least 48 hours to be able to get a notice out. So it'll probably be a week or two later.
Yeah, so it would still be good then. We could probably just wait till August, because anything we discuss is not gonna happen until January anyway, right?
Depending on the planning. August is kind of late, especially if we're planning to do something in person.
Mhm.
It may need to secure a location where we would have to.
Yeah, so we just play it by ear right now, depending on what comes out of the meeting on the 10th.
Okay. Because theoretically, um, if there were items that came up, we could, since 48 hours, is that 48 hours or 48 business? 2 business days, or is it 48 hours?
8 hours.
Okay. Our regularly scheduled, well, let me put it this way, the third Tuesday when we usually meet is the 15th. So if there was something that was particularly pressing, we could get a notice out that Friday for a meeting on Tuesday.
Mhm. Yep.
Because I would imagine it's either something that will require us to act on immediately, or it can wait until August. So, but we'll wait and see what the action items for the Normal Human Relations Commission are before putting that out there.
Sounds good.
Put a hold on your calendar for June 15th. Okay. Does anyone have anything else? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
There a second?
I second that.
Hearing no discussion. Jason, can you call the roll for us?
Mr. Kamala,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Ryburn,
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye. Announcement. I will go back before I accept the, oh, I can't do that because there's a motion on the floor. Motion carries. So what I'll just say after the meeting is adjourned at 5:48 p.m. is that Jason has reached out to the new ISU student body leadership. Ethan is no longer the vice president. And so hopefully we'll be able to get their information and have that whoever that vice president or the designee for the Human Relations Commission on for our August meeting. Well, if they're available in June, that would be great. I know classes start the 16th and our meeting is the 17th, so we know they'll be around then. So thank you everyone for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody, have a good night.
Thank you, and see you on the 10th.
Yes. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too.